Hello guys, welcome back, and today we're going to be racing the Ferrari SF15T.
Yep, and as usual with all the Formula 1 cars, I'm sure you guys have realised it by now, but we take them out to Silverstone.
Yeah.
So that's exactly where we're going. Now, the first thing I'm doing is actually lowering my height, because I'm not exactly a tall guy. Not that tall anyway, not as tall as you. But generally, Formula 1 drivers are not that tall, so...
They're quite petite, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
They look quite big on TV, though.
They do. I mean, I think the tallest F1 driver is actually 6'4". He's the tallest, but the shortest, I think, is 5'5".
Wow, okay.
And the average height's about 5'9". So around my height.
Yeah.
You'd
I wouldn't get in.
You wouldn't get into it. No. Actually, you probably would, but you'd be sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
They wouldn't put a seat on. You'd be sitting directly on the floor. I think Nico Hülkenberg does that because he's around 6 foot, I think, or just over 6 foot. So there we go. There's a bit of trivia for you.
Right then, so it's a 2015 model, obviously.
Yep.
And it's the V6.
Yeah. Should we try and last at least half an episode without complaining about the V6?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. The thing is, it's the noise straight away when you go in.
Just
It just puts you off. But okay, we'll try to oversee that.
Let's oversee that for now. Driven by Sebastian Vettel,
And
Kimi Raikkonen,
yeah.
so you've got 2 world champions in there. And it's actually already won, as the time we were recording this, it's won 3 races this year. Now, I don't see it winning another race, to be honest.
But that's not bad in comparison to the dominance of the Mercedes. So
What's really funny is the new team principal at Ferrari, Maurizio his name's so hard to say, Maurizio Arrivabene. He actually said at the start of the year, they said, "What's your target?" And he said, "We're going to win 3 races." Now, compared to last year's car, which was a shambles, people laughed. Said, "That's not going to happen." End of the season coming up, 2 races to go. They've won 3 races. They have delivered on their promise, and that's really nicely done for Ferrari.
I mean, like I said, the dominance of Mercedes.
Yeah, they really have dominated. But surprisingly, Ferrari and to an extent Red Bull at certain tracks have kept them, and Williams have kept them a little bit more grounded than last year. But like we said, this is so much better than the F14T.
Yeah,
first of all, in looks,
it didn't take much, did it?
Yeah, it didn't. First of all, in looks, it's much better. Even just if you just look at the front wing in the replay box, it's just a lot smoother. Remember when we reviewed the F14T, I said it was like Hagrid had sat on the front wing.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
But this is just a lot better. And like we said, it is a V6 1.6 litre, single turbo, so turbocharged engine, and
rear wheel drive,
as all Formula 1 cars go. Amazingly, this car is slightly heavier than I thought it'd be.
Yeah, I mean, don't they sort of roughly around the 650 mark? And this is sort of...
Well, this is including driver and everything. So
okay, so that's on par.
Yeah, I didn't think.
On par, yeah.
But it is slightly heavy. I mean, there was an allowance. I think they had an 11 kg allowance this year over last year's cars. So they said, the 2015 models can have a bit more weight, and I think Ferrari have used every kilo of that.
Yeah.
I actually had a more precise figure for that, but I don't think we need to go into that.
And it pushing out 750 brake horsepower,
which is quite a lot compared to, again, last year's Ferrari. They've really...
Wasn't it 720 less?
I think last year was only doing 700. They were
okay.
really down on power. They were a good 40-50 bhp off the Mercedes. Now this is probably around maybe 10 bhp off the Mercedes. It's very close.
What do you reckon next year then? What are the chances of next year?
I think next year it's going to be a good battle between Ferrari and Ferrari engines.
Yeah.
So that actually includes the Haas team, which is now coming in, and the Mercedes and the Mercedes engines. So you've got Williams, you've got Mercedes themselves. Who knows what's going to happen with Red Bull?
Yeah, well, at this point, they're not going to be in F1, are they?
No.
They're falling out with everyone at the moment.
It's sad because the thing is with Red Bull is they're such a good team.
Yeah.
Okay, there's certain things I don't like the way they do, but Red Bull generally are such a good team, and they're very important. The promotion that they give to F1 is absolutely incredible. The problem is that with the likes of, with them having people like Adrian Newey on board, their aerodynamics are so well done that if you were to put any, let's say the Ferrari or the Mercedes engine in there, they would probably show up those, the primary teams, which is why they're reluctant to give them the engines.
Like you said, they've got a few good people on the team. I
I
hope they find someone to supply with engines.
I do, especially with their current driver lineup as well. I'd hate to see FIAT and Ricciardo, lose their drives. But back to this Ferrari, the torque figures, bit of a mystery, because no torque figures were supplied. But I'm just guessing that, looking at the way the car drives, feeling how it handles, and comparing it to the other cars, you're looking at in excess of 500 Newton meters of torque, definitely. And it's 8 gears.
Yeah, and
and reverse,
and
yeah.
on the paddle shift, yeah.
And oddly enough, it's strange that one day we were talking about the wheels, and we accidentally
One day
mentioned
we were talking about the wheels.
Yeah, one day we were talking about wheels of the car in one of our reviews, and by mistake, instead of saying 13 inches, instead of saying something like 18 inches or something on the wheel,
Yeah.
we ended up with 13 inches.
Okay.
That's exactly what these Formula 1 cars have. Really small wheels.
Yeah. But
So-
I don't think that they have to be looked at much.
No, although the tyre compounds do, but we've just got updated Pirelli tyres in there, which you can actually see the stripe on it,
Yep.
which is pretty nice.
It is. But, it's a lot of detail, isn't there?
Yeah, there you can see, you can lock, as I locked up, that was
you locked it,
perfect.
you just saw the way, yeah.
Yeah, that was perfect. But what else has this car really got features-wise? It's got Brembo brakes,
Yeah.
which are, again, carbon fibre reinforced polymers. You'd expect that because of the strength that's needed and the lightness.
Yeah. The carbon fiber and honeycomb lattice.
Oh yeah, for the
whole-
chassis, we
the
didn't even
chassis,
mention
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That was really interesting because I looked up some stats on that, and the amount of material that's been used and the amount of hours that it took to actually build it, it was incredible.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go into that because there's so much things we can go into in depth on this car.
And the revs per minute, 15,000.
Yeah, it's 15,000, but you'd never see it getting to 15. You can see here I'm revving it at 11,
12,
and then
yeah.
switching over. You'd never see it getting at 15 because it's just not in its range. As soon as the lights go blue here, that's where you want to shift, just before they go blue, because that's its optimum rev range. So it's a bit. That's one of the complaints we had, didn't we, with these engines. But on top of that, we've also got the 120 kilowatts MGUK, i.e. the KERS. What was formerly known as the KERS system. And then you've got the ERS, which is that MGUK plus the MGUH, which is from the from the exhaust and everything. And that, I think, gives us an additional 160 bhp in total.
That's not bad.
So that's where we get our 760. So it's 600 from the engine, 160 from the...
Just going to talk about the steering wheel right now.
Yep.
It's impressive.
I do like it.
See, honestly, I've just been looking at it for the past minute, and the detail, it's just, I'm absolutely quite flabbergasted. I'll be honest with you. I'm quite surprised looking at it. It's amazing.
I mean, I was keeping up with the development log of this car, and it was really nice. I think the steering wheel was one of the first things they did.
Yeah.
And just when you saw the steering wheel, I think it was you looked at it and you thought, yeah, this is going to be a really good car. This is, they're going to do a good job on it. And as you can see, I'm making a few mistakes here, but we'll get onto that.
But I think the steering wheel, is the most important because obviously that's at the center of the screen.
Yeah.
And it's what you look at all the time. And if that's not right, everything else just falls apart.
It is true. I mean, imagine if there was just a block, really basic steering wheel there. It just wouldn't feel like an F1 car.
No.
It'd feel more like maybe a GP2 car or something. It just wouldn't feel like an F1 car.
Very impressive.
Very, very impressive. But that is pretty much all the info on the car. And now we can move on to the mod. And I tell you something, it was an interesting mod to pick apart.
Yeah.
It's only in a version 0.7 beta though.
So it's not even the final.
It's not a final version.
Thing yet, no.
Not a final version. But that being said, I was so impressed with it that I thought, I think it's worth reviewing even at this stage.
Yeah.
So mod info, it's modeled by Tuan.
Modeled by a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people working
on it.
Who's
who, isn't it?
It is who's who. It's basically the
elite team.
I think we call them the elite modders. Yeah, these are some of the elite modders. Yeah. For example, the sounds are by Never Crash.
Yep.
So that name's come up loads of times before in our videos. The physics were by P. Johan, and now
Edward Schofield.
Yep. So Edward, thanks. Keep up the hard work there. I know you like watching some of our videos. And the mapping, the skins, the mapping, textures and all that is by Sandro X, who actually worked on one of the URD mods. It was the Corvette C6. Do you remember that Corvette C6? I think we reviewed it at some point, quite a while ago, and he actually worked on that. So there's, again, like I said, these guys are the elite. Not saying that the others aren't. There are loads of elite people.
But
these are just some of them.
yeah,
There's probably a good pool of maybe 30 or 40, I would say.
wasn't that some of these are the Assetto Corsa team, wasn't it?
Sorry?
Some of the
Formula Corsa.
Formula Corsa, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
I think Never Crash and even Ed used to be on Formula Corsa
Yeah.
at some point. But unfortunately, that's now disbanded. For reasons no need to get into at the moment. But they have at least continued
Yeah.
with this, and it's really good. I was, like I said, I was really impressed, even though I don't like these cars.
Yeah.
I was just generally really impressed. Let's talk a little bit about the model first. I mean, you mentioned the steering wheel. Let's just expand upon the rest of the car.
Like I said, the steering wheel just sets it all off. You can look at the sort of the tires, the little detail about. Oh, okay. Just looking at you going off. Sorry, I'm just. You're having a bad day today.
It was. I'll explain why I was going off a couple of times. I'll explain that in a bit. But like you said, it's just everything just looked very smooth, really high.
Even the shadows on the side of the car when you're going past
Yep.
the pavilion.
But it was
It's
really,
amazing.
really high quality as well.
It
The
is,
model.
yeah.
I mean, you can see it's really smooth. Sometimes you see jagged edges in that on the model. You can't see this here. Even like the edges have been chamfered correctly and everything, which I was really happy about, because it just gives it a realistic feel as it goes. You don't expect a really sharp edge on the edge of your I forgot what they're called, those shoulder braces and everything. But the model, like I said, really high, really high poly. Sounds bang on, I think.
Bang on, yeah.
I mean,
there's not much to talk about sounds, but I mean, it is what it is, isn't it?
yeah.
The mod itself, it's copied from it's copied very well.
Yeah, it's taken the real V6 sounds. It's very accurate. We've been hearing these sounds all year in Formula One.
Yeah.
Not been liking them.
Yeah.
However, I will say that the best of the V6s in terms of sound has to be this Ferrari. Well, actually, it's the Honda, but that's because the Honda's most of the time broken, so it doesn't sound like a V6. That's why. But it is this Ferrari, and I like the fact that you can hear the turbo in this car as well. Not only in the car, but outside. As you let off the throttle, you actually hear the dump valve, which is, I thought that was quite impressive. It gives it a sense of, oh yeah, there is a little bit more to this car than just a bumblebee buzz. I have to say, I was fairly impressed with
I'll be
the
honest.
sound quality.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, the whole thing itself, it's been executed very well.
Yes.
And I'm not saying it's the best F1 car,
No.
but
It is one of the best mods. of
yes,
an F1
yeah.
car.
And that's that you've got to give it to the people that made it. So
Definitely. I mean, physics as well. They felt somewhat similar to that of the Formula Corsa Mercedes,
Yeah.
which was obviously also from this year. But it feels much more smoother and more refined. Obviously, it's making use of the new tyre model as well. You can feel it. But the car is generally harder to drive than the Mercedes. It is harder to drive. That's not to say it's a hard car. My mistakes generally, you probably noticed, was under braking.
braking, yeah.
Under braking or coming out of a slow corner, just accidentally putting a little bit on the throttle. I have to say the brakes on this car were really sharp. I think maybe they're a bit too sharp, so maybe that needs to be looked at just a little. But like I said, also the torque caught me out a couple of times. But once I got the hang of it, you'll see here. Now that I've got the hang of it with these last few laps, it just felt fairly easy.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there now. I'm going to ask you, what were the problems with the actual mod / car?
I'm gonna say one. I think the brakes a little bit too strong. Two, in a personal sense, I felt it was too high when you started up, so you had to lower your eyes. But that's easy enough to do.
That's adjustable, isn't it? Yeah.
But there are things that haven't been included yet. For example, Kimi Raikkonen is missing.
Okay, I think that because I'm sure he'll be available.
But he'll be available once it's done. There's no damage or dirt effects yet.
Okay.
But again, that's coming. They know about it. They've actually listed it. No level of detail. Now that's where frames will take some hit.
Okay.
There's no backfire.
What sort of frames are we getting at the moment then?
Oh, on this I was getting a good 75.
Wow. Okay.
So it wasn't that much of an issue. And there's no high resolution cockpit. But then again, I didn't even notice that. I mean,
Honestly,
did you?
The thing is, that steering wheel just takes everything away. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't tend to look at it anything else in the cockpit other than the steering wheel, and that steering wheel's level of detail is amazing.
It is. It is
So
really
You
good.
tend to oversee everything else, which
It works, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
It really does work, and it was something that was strange when I read that the cockpit wasn't high resolution and there were these issues. I thought, well, at least they know about it and they're going to work on it. But driving the car was really, really nice. Actually, there is one other little gripe I had with it was the force feedback, by the way, was amazing, except for one small issue, which I found that on certain rumble strips, it got so strong in my hands that it was literally, I was struggling to hold the wheel. But apart from that, everywhere else, it was absolutely fine. It didn't try and throw my hands off the wheel or anything. I could feel I mean, you can see the tiny bumps that this car's going over.
You can see the tires wobbling and
You can see that. I could feel it.
Okay.
I could feel every single one of those, which I thought was really, really nice. Oh, and plus, it's got manually activated DRS.
Okay.
So DRS is actually implemented in this. I would say, well done to the guys.
Yeah,
It was
it's
really
it's
good.
like I said, it's executed very, very well. What would you give this car?
The car or the mod?
Okay, the mod.
The mod. I'm gonna give this mod right now, as it is, a 9.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9.
I honestly fully back you on that one.
Yeah.
I think, for what they've done, I think I firmly believe once they've actually released the full version, it probably might even be close to a 10.
I think so. Yeah, agreed. I mean, I think we both still dislike the new F1 cards.
Yeah,
but at least this was a realistic experience.
But I mean, we're grading the mod, not the car.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
to the team that's made it, it's a very well done, and I'm sure it'll be a close to a 10.
I think so.
I think it'll be flawless, personally.
I think so as well. I mean, especially with with the team that they've got, you can't go wrong. I mean, if the other thing is, if they ever needed someone else to double check it, there's so many great modders out there.
Could you do it?
I suppose so. I suppose so. I mean, that's what we do, though, don't we? We test drive it. But there's so many great modders out there that any one of them could just come on and say, oh yeah, this needs to be changed and that needs to be changed. So well done, guys. Absolutely well done. It was. I'm just trying to think of some decent closing remarks as we come on to our last lap. Not for the engine. We managed to lose most of the video without. That just shows how good a mod this is. Actually, that's a good closing remark. Just to show how good a mod this is, we've lasted the entire video without actually complaining about the engine.
We started off complaining, we just stopped.
Yeah, because it is a mod that's so well made, and it's well worth a download, and download links will be in the description box below, and I'm still going to continue watching development of this. When it comes to version 1,
we might
make another video.
Yeah, we probably will.
Perhaps not this long, but a shorter video showcasing it, having a look, just showing you what may have changed and what we think at that time, which I think will be worth it. And I tell you what, how about we leave you guys to enjoy the rest of this lap, because this is going to be my fastest lap. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to our channel for more videos on Assetto Corsa, and leave a comment in the comments box below. Download this car and give it a try. Like I said, might not be the most fun car to drive, but it's definitely a car worth driving. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.